You're listening to the Connect Church podcast featuring the pastoral staff of Connect Church in Tupelo, Mississippi. This podcast delivers biblical truths, hot topic discussions, and encouragement you need on your daily journey to live like Christ.
The Human Resources Department requires that I be available.
Not sure if the invite cards are nifty, but the mustache is definitely not.
He's in charge of our children. What are we doing?
I don't.
Here are your hosts, Terry Pierce, Andrew Pierce, and Tanner Stahl.
Thank you all for being here. Let's get started.
And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Whenever you're listening to this podcast, we are excited you're listening. I want to give you a happy hallelujah hello today as we do podcast episode 005. Yeah,
made it to 5.
We're at number 5. That's right, 005. Thank you for listening. You found us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, wherever. Go ahead, give it that 5-star rating, whatever, thumbs up, like it. I don't even know what you're supposed to do on all those platforms. Who cares? But anyways, we're glad you're listening. And we are here. So how's it going, guys? We got Andrew and Terry here with me. This is Tanner, by the way.
Andrew, can you notice that Tanner's already in such a better mood than normal day because Arkansas won on the last 4 seconds left, shot 2 free throws to beat Big Blue Nation, and so Tanner's just in such better mood than normal.
Yeah, it's actually I have a love-hate relationship with it because Tanner's a lot more positive, more upbeat, more just optimistic. Anything when Arkansas's won, but then we have to deal with his garbage that Arkansas has won.
What you can't see is I'm drinking from my coffee mug here. I'm not drinking coffee. I'm drinking the tears of Big Blue Nation. That's right.
Oh, wow. in your tacos cup.
That's right. In my Madison Nanny given tacos cup. Thank you, Madison. Anyway, so let's recap just real quick. I know today is Wednesday. We're recording on Wednesday, and the Super Bowl was this weekend. I want to go over the picks that you guys submitted last week.
Man, wow.
Let's see. Terry picked the Chiefs to win. Andrew picked the Chiefs to win. I picked the Bucks to win.
Nice call. Nice call.
What up? Yeah. I know. Of course, no one expected a blowout, a beatdown like it was, but that's what you get when you get Tom Brady and a good defense.
The GOAT, man.
That's right.
My other personal favorite was it showed the Chiefs airplane or whatever landing in Tampa, and it said the only touchdown that the Chiefs had.
That's right. That's valid. That's valid. The only touchdown that they had.
I loved it because of the fact, one, I'm a Brady fan, but two is that all of my nemesis of the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers people, were actually admitting that, after a Sunday, Brady went through New Orleans and he beat Green Bay, Rodgers, and then Mahomes. He just did the trifecta.
Yeah, yeah. And it was funny to see. I don't know if you guys are following on Twitter or anything, but obviously I'm a big Twitter guy and I follow just sports on Twitter mainly. But all of the Chiefs, like Patrick Mahomes' mom and his girlfriend or whatever she is, fiance, baby mama, whatever. All of the women in the Chiefs world were like whining so much on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Interesting. About the refs and about the game.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, it's just funny. But whatever.
I saw another one that was too. I forgot her name, but the female ref or whatever for the Super Bowl.
She's from Mississippi.
Yeah, she is from Mississippi. That's awesome. But they said that she was a perfect one because there's no better person to point out what a man does wrong than a woman.
Ooh,
so it was like that was pretty true.
Yeah. So kudos to her for being the first female
that was cool.
official. Of course, we don't have genders anymore, so take that away from her.
So, we're getting off on a good start.
Moving along.
We can't celebrate that. So. Sorry. All right, so let's get into talking about sermon, God Grows Your Faith, Part 2, Terry. So let's get into it a little bit. What was it about? Like, what was the difference between this week and last week's sermon, since they were both, the same title, same scripture and everything?
Well, they were actually just the same. No, we just carried it a little bit deeper. The main points were all very similar, or actually very same. But we talked about, the fact that I think what was more interesting for me, part of it was as we did, we unpacked the word we do every week here and took apart verses 1 through 3, talking about the definition of faith. And so we outlined, what that was, and we, gave a quote and helping folks understand about the assurance of our faith. And we, unpacked what that really looks like. In the Greek, it's talking about an ongoing, we call it an active participle, but it's constantly being sure that God's going to carry carry this thing through in our lives. And that's, just a great reminder every day to that our faith is a everyday being sure, constant assurance that God wants us to live in Him alone. And so we talked about, faith is confidence, and that results in actions carried out in a variety of situations by ordinary people in response to the unseen God and His promises. And that comes from Dr. George Guthrie in his New Testament commentary. So a great summary of what we talked about is, and I love this week because after we got through, the heavy lifting of the passage, then we really just spent most of the time applying it. And that was the difference this week is we told real life stories of how faith is changing people in our church.
That was great. That's a very good synopsis of the summarize of the sermon. 2 words I did not think I'd hear today. Active participle. Very
Active
good.
participle.
Way to get that in
Wow.
there. Way to get that in there. I'm
No
going to start
problem.
giving you some hot words to see if we can get you to say them in your summaries. You told a story about one of your sons confronting you about behavior. Give us that real quick, and then talk about this quote from our dear brother Jim Putman. We don't call you out, we are calling you up.
Yeah.
Explain that to me a little bit.
I think that was, one of the, new phrases that I'd love to see us use more around here. And even though I did,
We'll put it on a T-shirt.
That's good, a good idea. So we'll put Andrew's new store.
That and turn or burn. We'll
Turn
put
or burn. That was another part of the story.
We'll put that on a T-shirt.
That was classic. That was
Got some
classic.
good fiery
So-
fonts for that.
Come to
Absolutely.
Connect Church. If you don't turn or burn.
That's right. That's right. So hey, at least our folks are sharing the gospel, man.
right.
So,
I mean,
so
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
that's
All
the
right,
best
sorry. Go
part.
back to we don't call you out, we're calling you up. Sorry,
Yes,
my
yes.
bad.
So, and we just shared the story of back, going through a difficult season in ministry, and and I was just grouchy and come home, and one of our sons just came up to us and came up to me one night, and I was talking about how that we numb ourselves in our spiritual walk. You really need to go back and listen to that part of the message. Man, I'm not going to lie. Let me just sort of veer off here for just a little bit to answer your question and talk about it. But everybody needs to go back and check it out if you didn't. For this reason, it was a weird thing happened to me Sunday afternoon, and I had to have Glenn even before the Super Bowl started and just pray over me. Is I got to really feeling like spiritual warfare was going on. I've never beat myself up after a message like I did Sunday, and I know it was pretty hard hitting, and I got down, and we really applied the fact of how that we numb ourselves with a variety of things in our lives, and rather than go to God, and so if you haven't heard that part of the message, I mean, and I really got thinking, man, nobody's going to like me, and it was just weird how Satan really just tried to take that away. So I just think there's some powerful stuff there of again, difficult things to hear, but I think it's going to be a game changer. And I think what Satan was really ticked off about was the fact that when we started talking about we're not calling people, out, and that's the whole point of the message. As hard as that message was, you need to listen to it if you haven't, but we're calling people up. And I think Satan really got ticked off because, that's what Putman writes about in his book, is the fact that, and just what my own son did to me in that day, is that, he said, Dad, things are not going well for you. And I said, you're right. I'm taking it out on everybody else. And what my son did in calling me out was remind me that I need to get alone with God and call me up.
You can check out that sermon on Apple Podcasts, on the Sermon Playback Podcast, God Grows Our Faith Part 2, February 7th, 2021. If you got a good hour to spend, that's how long it is. But no, yeah, definitely go back and check that out. Or you can check that sermon out on our website on the media page at www.triconnect.church. Andrew, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I thought it was, well, personally, I thought I felt called out a little bit and called up.
Are you the son that he was talking about? Which
I
son?
was not.
Okay.
I was not. I was actually at college. I believe it was about Adam, but when
Not
when,
mention any names.
yeah, sorry. It was a good thing. So if it was a bad thing, I'd said his name too.
It's
though.
true.
He's my favorite. You can talk about him.
Oh, Adam. But anyways, I thought it was really, the part that spoke to me a lot was the numbing, and stuff. And then he went through the Hall of Faith chapter of Hebrews 11, as we call it, like all those guys with Cain and Abel and Enoch and Noah and all these guys, like they gave examples of how they either did and they did numb themselves. They went home. That if they were in 2021, they would have watched TV. They would have barely talked to their wives. They would have not really interacted with their kids. They would have got on social media. They would have numbed themselves with whatever it was. And you know, Terry, I think you even gave the example that you did it through basketball, watching basketball and stuff. And not that there's anything wrong with doing these things. I mean, absolutely watch the Lakers play, you know, watch Arkansas kick Kentucky's butt, not buck. Watch them do all these things, but not at the expense of your family, not at the expense of your ultimately your relationship with God, and not at the expense of when you're dealing with some stuff, because you know your faith is going to be tested through these circumstances. Your faith is constantly being attacked. You can't numb yourself to what's going on. You have to, you know, deal with some of these things, or it's going to flow over into jealousy. It's going to flow over into bitterness. It's going to flow over into every aspect of your life. And man, that just hit me hard. I know I've been guilty of that so often, of just numbing myself, and that can't be the case. Well,
now I kind of feel bad because last night at the AFA date night Valentine's thing that they had down at the Bank Corp Center thing, me and Ashley were watching the Arkansas and Kentucky game on my phone. So it was just poor planning on our part. We should have just watched the game at home. You know.
Widescreen.
Yeah, widescreen. But anyways, okay, cool. So the sermon was, again, based out of Hebrews 11:6. We're not going to read that for you again. The first topic, do you want to read it, Andrew?
I'm good.
Okay, well, I mean,
I've got it hid in my heart that I might not sin against God.
That's right. Well, and by that, you know, one of the sub-points this week was by faith we trust him to keep his word. You know, that's by faith we trust him to keep his word. That's a pretty, I don't want to say vague. It sounds easy, right? But then when you think about it, it's like, okay, I'm going to actually trust that the word of the Lord that we read in our Hear Journals, that we study, is actually going to come true in today's age, right?
Yeah. Well, we talked about, you know, the three guys in that point of the message. We talked about the three, you know, guys in Hebrews, setting up the context of Hebrews 11:6. And we told a story in verse 4 of Abel and making a sacrifice, fascinating story, and things did not turn out right. I think it was really helpful, Tanner, that people hear what sort of Andrew was just saying. Abel did everything right, and he got killed for it. Yeah. Enoch preached to the most wicked generation. I don't have time to go into it, but it was a fantastic study sometimes to do. When I was at the Creation Museum a couple of years ago, it just struck me when they were walking us through those early days of Genesis. Those people were advanced civilization for their day. You know, we always think that they were like cavemen. These people had, they had wealth. They had, great palaces and stuff. Enoch's out there just preaching, and nobody's responding. And then the Lord just said, you know what, I'm tired of and sick and tired of people rejecting you. I'm just going to take you home. And that was a whole different take on that. And then Noah, you know, we think about Noah as the hero. How did we learn it in Sunday school? Noah was the hero. And that's just sort of a little bit bogus, to be honest with you, is Noah watched people screaming to get into the boat. Everybody hated him while he was building the boat. Then they hated him because he wouldn't let them back in the boat. And Noah just had to just do what God said. I mean, that would have been sucky. I mean, just to be honest with you.
Imagine our pretentious selves being like, hey, told you.
Right,
you know?
Right. And so, you know, it's
me and Tanner 100% would have been.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would have thought of that, but you guys definitely would have. So yes.
Instead of turn or burn, would it have been?
Right.
You know,
so yes.
What rhymes with drown?
Frown or drown.
Frown or drown.
Yeah. So you guys are so sad. So this is what I'm working with, church. But anyway, but yeah, and I think that one of the great things is what did those guys hold on to is they were obedient to the word of God. And I love, we had folks sharing on social media this week, a lady just shared that she said, and I love how she said it, because she says, like, Brother Terry just basically beats us down every Sunday that we've got to do our Bible reading and our Hear Journal. And she says, but I finally tried it, and God has so liberated my life because it's truth of him. And so that's why we do Hear Journals. It's not legalism. It's not because we're trying to check off, you know, we read my daily bread like we used to. No, you need a personal relationship of confidence in God, and that's what faith is.
And that, yeah, exactly. I remember thinking about that point while you were preaching Sunday, was that these guys didn't have a book to tote around in their knapsack. You know, they didn't have anything that they could keep with them.
Good point.
They actually had to have that relationship to obey and understand and follow God's word. So,
just his word.
Yeah.
Dude, Moses had 2 giant stone tablets that he had to have 4 guys carry. It was so heavy, you know, for the 10 Commandments.
And then he broke them.
And then he broke them.
Yeah, and then he broke. Yeah, well, that's a whole nother issue.
All right, cool. All right, so any other last thoughts or words of wisdom, advice, recollection you want to bring about this sermon?
I want to say I've really enjoyed this series, the study. It's helped me reform the way that I'm ministering, that we think about church, that it's not just like, hey, come and get your feel good, or like come and get your little bit on Sunday because it's what you're supposed to do. No, we are family, y'all. We are growing together, thick and thin. We're going through good, bad, ugly, all of it together. And sometimes we're going to get called out, but it's honestly more called up. We're not just trying to expose you. We're not trying to do anything like that, that we are trying to love on you. And that's what you do as a family. You spur each other on to make each other better. And that's kind of biblical. So
this is us. And I would add to what Andrew just said is that I love how that, and you got to go back and hear the end of the message. It is too long. I totally agree with it. But the end of the message.
I'm sorry. Did he admit that it was too long? He just admitted? Y'all let the record show in all of podcast land. Terry Pierce admitted he talks way too much.
Bagel Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry.
Valid. I'm owning that. But the end of the message is the real kicker. Just hearing the stories of, and I've got text this week from other small groups, Connect groups in our church family, that even though the Super Bowl was this weekend, they still went and discussed it and had some of their best discussions they've ever had. I think to Andrew's point is we've all known about church, but we've really never looked at it from an Acts, chapter 2 status and understanding this is us, this is how God designed it. And so then when you add in those testimonies of people just getting real with God, and you've got to hear those stories of how they were just confessing sin and saying, man, this is what I got to be burdened about, and just tremendous stories. I love it when people get real with the Word of God and it changes their lives, and that's what it's about, calling people up, and this is us.
That's awesome. Again, you can check that out on the Apple Podcasts app. This is us. God Grows Our Faith Part 2 on that app podcast, or on our website. That particular podcast is not on all of the platforms. It's just the Apple Podcast app and then our website. All right, cool. Well, that is that officially wraps up the entire This Is Us sermon series. You're going to hear about what's coming up next here a little bit later on. We're going to take a quick break, and then we will be back with more of the Connect Church podcast.
Have you been looking for a place to call home? Need a place that makes you feel welcome and valued while at the same time growing spiritually in Christ and biblical truths? At Connect Church, our mission is all about loving God, loving people, and making disciples. When we gather together, there's a spirit of worship, a spirit of kindness, and a spirit of welcoming to anyone and everyone who's seeking God's will and truth in their lives. We invite you to visit during one of our 2 Sunday services to discover how Connect Church can help you grow in your relationship with Jesus Christ. Our friendly and spirit-filled worship environment is just the place for you. Visit Connect Church this Sunday during our 9 o'clock or 10:30 a.m. services, located at 1650 North Veterans Boulevard in Tupelo, Mississippi. Or you can check out our live stream on our Facebook page or our website at www.triconnect.church. Again, that's www.triconnect.church. We look forward to connecting with you.
And we're back on the Connect Church podcast, episode 005. All right, guys, let's, since like I said earlier before that we're wrapping up the This Is Us series, let's go into what's going on at church. We'll title this segment, Church Happenings. There it goes. Hang on. There it is. Nightly news. What's happening? I'll start. We got the couples retreat coming up. That's next weekend. If you need to sign up and register for that, do that ASAP. I mean, like, do it yesterday so we can get a good count of that. We're looking forward to that. And I got to say, last night at the AFA Valentine's thingy, they tried to they played the Newlywed Game music, and they tried to do this, kind of like the Newlywed Game, but it really wasn't, and it was just a total fail, in my opinion. So,
how do you feel about it, Tanner?
Yeah, I mean, you could ask the couple that was hosting it. They were like, oh, okay, this ain't working. But anyway, so ours is going to be much, much better. I'm just going to throw that out there. So you want to sign up. Hopefully you'll get your name in the hat and get drawn out to play the Newlywed Game. So that's coming up.
I've got a question. Was this when your phone went dead and you were actually having to pay attention?
No. This was to kick off the evening, and that's when I was questioning myself. Should I have just stayed home and watched this basketball game? Yeah. But anyways, it was fun. It was funny. They had a good time with it. But it was even Miss Kathy was like, "Please don't ask these kind of questions whenever you do it." It was good stuff. But anyway, so that's coming up this week. So get signed up for the couples retreat. What else is going on? What's our next sermon series going to be about?
Yeah, we're starting this Sunday, Forever Family, and then we'll be preaching a message, kicking off, working on it even now. We'll be talking about marriage. We're going to even talk a little bit about single life and dating. We're going to package it all together, and so make sure we get out on time. And then Dr. Moody will be here the weekend you're talking about on the 21st, 19th to the 21st. We'll be here with the marriage conference, and he's written books on marriage and family, so it's going to be exciting. And then Andrew's going to finish this up in the end of February with talking to parents and talking to grandparents about children, parenting, and all those kind of good things.
You should have had me preach the day of when you talk about single life and dating, because I have no experience about that. We would have got out here so quickly. It would have been
a quick. It
would have gone over real fast. So.
And I would have loved hearing you, because one of my favorite all-time stories is Tanner and Ashley. And Ashley said, tell everybody about when you used to do this. And Tanner goes, "You weren't even there."
Yeah, really. Yeah. I didn't have any dates. Don't ask me about dating, because I tried and I never had any dates. So the answer was always, "We're such good friends." So anyways.
Oh, man.
So why did Ashley go out with you?
I don't know. It was just by
pity.
Yeah, pity, exactly. I mean, she felt bad. She's such a wonderful heart.
That's what it was. You could have put Tanner on one of those ASPCA commercials, "In the arms of the angel."
My little sad puppy dog.
Ashley was.
You can sponsor this poor single man for a day.
Ashley was having her one bad day, and she picked Tanner.
That's right. Yeah. What up, y'all? All right, Andrew. What else is going on? What's going on in teen land over there?
Oh, goodness. Well, we got a girls' day on, I believe it's the last Saturday of the month, 6th or 26th, I think, or 27th, whatever that day is.
I hope you're not hosting that.
I am not.
Okay,
I am not. Ashland's taking the reins on that, but they actually have a ministry called Daughters of the King. It's where girls, 7th through 12th grade girls, they just meet with some ladies in our church. They just wanted to pour into them, and they're going to be talking about girl stuff and everything. They do a Bible study. They cook. They do some really amazing food together. But then Ashland and some of the other ladies, they're going to go get their nails done, go to the mall, do some stuff together and whatnot. So any 7th through 12th grade girls available for that, you can just hit us up for more details. We also have a family fun night coming up. I believe it's the Wednesday of spring break.
Oh, yes.
So, that'll be here at the church. We'll just have some activities, some stuff like that.
They need to play Family Feud that night.
Oh, man. Okay, but if we do, I don't want to be doing childcare that night.
Sorry, that's your job, cuz.
I didn't sign up for this.
So going back to your girls' night thing, have you ever had? You said they're going to get their nails done and stuff. Have you ever had a pedicure?
Yes.
Have you ever had a pedicure, Terry?
No.
I've had 2 pedicures.
Okay, thank you.
They are magical.
Okay,
they
but
are great.
Listen, just so all of our podcast listeners don't judge me and Tanner right off the bat, I only did it once.
I've done it twice.
I only did it once, and it was to impress a girl when I was in high school. But when a guy gets a pedicure, they don't paint your nails or do any of that stuff. They literally, you just sit in like these massager chairs, and they just like rub your feet and everything. And like I was running, I had these like nasty calluses on the bottom of my feet, and they're like scrubbing this stuff. Dude, it was amazing.
I really,
and I didn't pay for it. So I mean,
I really just am channeling my inner Ron Swanson now, and what I really need is I hate everything, and I need 2 men to join me on the staff.
Actually, one time, it was while we lived in Georgia, Ashley got me a pedicure for Valentine's Day. I don't know if that was a present or a signal
suggestion.
Or suggestion. Yeah, exactly. So,
and just for all of our listeners' sake, I just want you to know that Blaine got me a gun and bullets for mine.
Apparently, to use for himself after working with me and Tanner.
Anyways, that's lots of fun. Okay, something else happening coming up. March 7th is our night of music. A music night is what I called it. You should see the graphics coming out on social media and on the screens and everything this week. Music night. It's going to be a night of just music for everything, for everybody. There's going to be some Southern gospel, Andrew. There's going to be some contemporary music.
Yay.
There's going to be some old songs that we don't really sing a whole lot anymore because they've kind of, phased out a little bit, that are great songs. We're going to bring back some of the old songs. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a great night. Except for the beginning of it, which I won't tell you why, but you'll have to just be here to see that part, Terry.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler alert. But anyway, so yeah, mark that on your calendar. I know a lot of y'all are going to be on spring break. Half my media team's going to be out on spring break, so It's March 7th at 6 p.m., a music night. Anything else going on y'all want to mention, guys?
Good, man.
You're good?
We're good.
Crickets. All right, cool. Well, it is time for my favorite segment of the podcast, and that is the best and the worst of the weekend.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Wait. Which was it?
This is the worst.
All right, best and the worst of the weekend.
I think my worst was just watching Terry dance to Simply the Best.
Yeah.
That's my worst.
He's over here grooving it with his headphones and his lazy boy chair.
Laying it down.
That's right. Terry, what was your best of the weekend?
The best of the weekend was watching the Super Bowl. So I just did a quiet evening, and I went and got I'm going to butcher this, so I'm just going to go ahead and get Las Cerritas. What is it called?
Salsaritas.
And I went and got a steak burrito with the queso dip and chips. Those chips are amazing.
Gosh,
and watched the
hungry.
Super Bowl and just quietly enjoyed Brady smashing everything. And it was a good game. I mean, from my end of it, it was neat.
All right, Andrew, best of the weekend.
Yeah, we watched the Super Bowl with our Connect group. We took a week off from doing questions and stuff, but we just had a good time of fellowship. But my best was probably not that, because to be honest, I could care less about the Bucs or the Chiefs. And
you're getting your nails done.
I was not getting my nails done. I've gotten into the routine of running again, so I have set a goal to run 800 miles by the end of the year. Not like going on walks with Ashlyn, just like set running. I'm going to run 800 miles by the end of the year. And I finally got back in the habit because the weather has been amazing for running. So that was probably one of my best. I ran about 16 miles over the weekend. So that was awesome.
So how many do you have left to go? Fast math, go.
I want to say probably about 750. I didn't do so hot in January.
I'm trying to think, what is 800 miles away from here? Like, where could you run in 800 miles?
I would run to my in-laws on the coast of North Carolina.
I don't know. I'm just spitballing. Denver? Like, I don't know. What's 800 miles
probably
from
not
here?
Denver. Seriously, it's about 800 miles to my in-laws on the coast of North Carolina.
Okay.
One way.
806 miles to Lubbock, Texas.
Lubbock, Texas?
You're so full of it.
Okay.
Hold on, while you answer that, I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah. All right, so that's your bet. Your best is you're going to start running. You're going to run 800 miles in 2021.
I mean, it was enjoyable because the weather's been nice. Yeah. Like it's 50s and 60s.
It's supposed to be really nice this weekend, I hear.
Yeah, well, that's my worst. So if I can go ahead and share that. Yeah, my worst is I am not even a little bit excited about it. Apparently, it's supposed to get like into the teens. They're saying like there's an ice storm coming, not necessarily for here, but it's just going to be gross and cold. And I canceled my gym membership to try and save money and just run outside. And I ain't running when it's like that.
Get your treadmill.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
Tanner wouldn't run 356 miles from here to Little Rock to Tacos for Life. So
we're gonna put a taco on a fishing line and put it on the treadmill, like the State Farm commercial. I caught you $1. Oh, you gotta be quicker than that.
Okay. Yes.
That's an old one.
So my best of the weekend, since y'all talked about Super Bowl, mine also came from the Super Bowl. And if you were paying attention there in the fourth quarter, there was a man who jumped on the field.
Yes, I did see that.
That is hilarious. I don't care who you are. That is funny. Yes. And I hate that they, go to jail and all that stuff. But, man, I know why they can't do it. But
dude, did you see how they tackled him? Like the security guards?
I got something better for you, okay? I don't know if you – I'm a radio guy, okay? I like to listen to the radio. And I heard the radio call. On the TV, they go away from it. Like, they don't talk about it. They don't want to give him any credit because that deters people from doing it ever again.
Hang on. I've got an important question. Was he wearing a mask?
He was not wearing a mask.
He was pulling down his pants, so I don't think he was wearing a mask.
I got the radio call for us because the radio call was brilliant. Kevin Harlan is one of the best radio voices, and he does all the big events. Here's his radio call of the streaker that night of the Super Bowl.
Second down, 20, 5:03 to go. Someone has run on the field. Some guy with a brawl. And now he's not being chased. He's running down the middle of the 40. Arms in the air in a victory salute. He's pulling down his pants. Put up your pants, my man. Pull up those pants. He's being chased to the 30. He breaks a tackle from a security guard. The 20, down the middle, the 10, the 5. He slides at the 1, and they converge on him at the goal line. Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Is that not
and
good
the players
stuff?
with hands on hips at the other end of the field are looking
good.
at him and shaking their head and saying, why, oh, why is this taking place in a Super Bowl?
Oh, man, you pair that with a video, it is good. It is gold.
That's a great call, but you know what came to mind? I just pictured after this, part of this past episode here today is that I pictured Tanner and Andrew running in to get their nails done. Same way.
Well, I mean, my pants are up, but I don't have a bra.
Yeah,
exactly.
Now that would make a good T-shirt.
Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Yes,
that would make a great T-shirt.
That is a Ron Swanson statement right there.
And then we're going to put Connect Church at the bottom of it.
I'm going to get Scott Lewis on that ASAP. Pull up your pants, take off the bra, and be a man.
Amen.
Although if you're the Chiefs defensive coordinator, dude, I'm signing whoever those security guards were. Not the first 2 that he broke the tackles of, but those 4 that captured him in the end zone. I'm signing them because they did way better than the Chiefs defense.
Well, to the point, Andrew, that's the only that's more touchdowns than the Chiefs scored in the game.
Well,
the dude in the bra.
He slid at the 1. Why don't you just run in the end zone?
Did he cross the plane? That is the question.
Well, again, that's still closer than the Chiefs got.
It's got the closer than the Chiefs got. That's right. That's right. All right, let's go around the table for our worst. Terry, what was your worst of the weekend?
Mine. Do you have any really sad music that we could play here?
Sure. Let me find some sad music. Oh, I don't know if I have any sad music.
And before we give this, I've got okay, never mind.
How about creepy music?
No, this is not creepy. No,
Okay,
this is like heartbreaking. Jody Brown just sent this to me across the AP wire. This is just. No.
I'm trying.
Yeah, just leave it alone. All right, so this is historic Krispy Kreme in Atlanta. Was established in 1965, and it's close to my heart. Shaquille O'Neal, won my Laker trifecta championships.
Shacked in a pool.
There you go. But Shaq and Kobe, 3 world championships in a row. It almost brings me to tears. But the
oh my goodness!
And I've been to this one where I've been to almost all the Krispy Kremes. But this one opened up in 1965. This one's special to my heart because it's the year I was born, because I was an '80s kid. And so the Midtown Krispy Kreme that opened in 1965 burned to the ground.
It burned to the ground.
Yes, and caught on fire, and so it was just.
That is sad.
It is sad, and Shaquille O'Neal owned it.
That's not sad either. Sorry, I'm trying.
But it's just a very difficult day for me.
Well, I'm sorry about that. You can't get donuts at the Midtown. Where? Atlanta?
Atlanta, 1965.
Yeah. Sorry about that, man.
For all the times you're in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I used to live there.
Look, I'm still not convinced he doesn't drive to Atlanta to get Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
I was going to give you guys an update that I found out.
There's 13 of them that are closer. So. I'd have been to 12.
You would know. I found an update just for the 800 miles thing. It would be like running to Panama City Beach and back. Panama City Beach is 396 miles from Connect Church. So it would be like running all the way to Panama City Beach and back.
Well, we wanted you to run 800 miles and stay.
One way, right. Valid.
Well, that I didn't calculate that.
Come on. I was just thinking Panama City Beach ain't 800 miles from here.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a low for the week.
It's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be cold. I love summer. To be honest, I could live not with the politics and the taxes and everything else, but I could live on the coast of California, like in Northern California, all year. I love 50s and 60s. I wish it would stay like that all year. I know everybody's complaining about summer and they want warm weather and beaches and everything else. And I'm like, you know what? Give me mid 60s, like 50 degrees at night all year round. I love it. So I've enjoyed this past week. I'm not looking forward to all the gloomy, nasty weather to come. So that's my low, I guess.
All right. My worst of the weekend is incredible. I saw this and I immediately wrote it down and said, this is my worst of the weekend. So there was this.
Does it beat the swim trunks and the
it does.
Pool story? Oh, man.
It does. Okay. So this is from the New York Post, this article. And they wrote about this along with everybody else just about. But a Louisiana woman who went viral after struggling to remove Gorilla Glue from her hair.
I heard about this.
Claims that neither the hospital nor the company's advice helped remove the hardened adhesive. Now she's considering a lawsuit to get out of the sticky situation, according to TMZ. The lady hired an attorney and is weighing litigation against Gorilla Glue because while the product's label warns against using it on eyes, skin, or clothing, it does not mention hair, the outlet reports. So during her weekend trip to the ER, healthcare workers put acetone on the back of her head, and instead of getting to the root of the problem, it just burned her scalp and made her only made the glue gooey before it hardened back up again. There's a GoFundMe page, though. You can support this lady, and as of yesterday afternoon, it's raised over $15,000.
Oh my word. Y'all, my jaw is just like wide open.
Gorilla Glue in her hair because she'd ran out of hairspray, and so she decided to use Gorilla Glue.
She willingly put it in there.
She willingly put it in there, yes.
Like it wasn't like she had a toddler that was like playing a prank on her or something.
No, she ran out of her hair product and used Gorilla Glue to keep her hair down.
Well, now I'm just triggered.
Yeah. I mean, I want to try to think of what stupid thing can I do and go set up a GoFundMe page and get $15,000.
Oh, my goodness. My father-in-law says it best. If you're going to be stupid, you got to be tough.
Yeah.
Good night.
Anyways, that's my worst of the weekend. This idiot who put Gorilla Glue in her hair. That qualifies. But the label don't say don't put it in your hair. It just says don't use it on your skin. It's made for wood, tiles, and metal, and it's not made for hair.
See, like she's the person, I guess, that is responsible why we have instructions on Pop-Tarts. Like, how do you have to have instructions on Pop-Tarts? Step 1, remove wrapper.
Oh.
Step 2, heat Pop-Tart. Step 3, eat Pop-Tart. I'm done.
I think you could go on forever about this.
I
Terry.
could. I just.
By the way, I just did a Google, and Lubbock, Texas is just a little over 800 miles from Connect Church.
Yeah,
I really just pulled that out.
I noticed you weren't paying a lick of attention during my worst of the worst.
So I really did, almost nail that. That was pretty cool.
Can we get a fact checker?
Fact check.
It was
911.
Well, it's 911, but that's in the ballpark.
Well, you said almost 800. You said it's a little over 800.
That was just a random out of the air, though. That's not bad.
No, Fact Check says, you are wrong, sir. It is not 800 miles.
911.
Here,
I understand nothing.
That's right. I don't understand it.
I absolutely love all of your office quotes in here, by the way.
Sometimes I'll start a sentence, and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
That's basically the synopsis of this podcast today. So,
yeah.
All right. Anyways, all right. Last call. Anything you guys got? Oh, wait. Where to go in Tupelo? Let's give our shout out to our local flavor here in Tupelo. Anybody got a local flavor they want to shout out in the Tupelo?
Well, I've already said mine that I went to Los Doritos.
Salsaritas.
Yeah,
not Los Doritos. Salsaritas.
Yes, and got bean burrito steak. I wanted shrimp, but they were out of shrimp. So,
Yeah.
but their queso and chips is amazing.
Yeah.
Mine's not a business recommendation at all, but one of the places that I've found to love to go running, it's not necessarily in Tupelo.
Oh, we're talking about running again.
Yes, I'm on this kick, so that's what my life is consumed by because I didn't eat out anywhere or do anything cool this weekend as far as like local businesses are concerned. But they have a running track on the Tom Bigby Waterway there in Fulton.
Yeah, but you got to drive all the way to Fulton to get there.
Dude. Okay, you guys crack me up
And also,
all the way to Fulton.
Also, wait, running tracks need to be in a circle. Like, I don't want to start.
It's on the river.
I know.
So, like, can it bend back so it's a big circle? Like, it just goes and goes, and then you got to run all the way back.
Yes, that's the point.
But you get to see geese.
Oh.
That was good.
You could have been worse. It could be like The Office where they run the 5K and they say, well, where in the world are we? And they were like, I don't know, about 3.1 miles from the office.
That's what I feel like. That's what it's. Then you got to go all the way back.
Or you just run a mile and a half and then, at the halfway point, turn around.
Get an Uber.
Exactly.
Do it Stanley and Andy and all that. Or not Andy, Stanley and who else was a part of that group?
Kevin.
They got the taxi, Kevin and
Kevin.
Oscar. Yeah, they all got an Uber. That's what
Anyways. All right, my where to go in Tupelo. I don't really know. Like, I was thinking about this earlier. I haven't been anywhere. I went to Skybox the other day. That was really good in South Tillo.
No, you said that last week.
I didn't say Skybox last week.
You did say that last week.
No, I did not.
Oh, I thought he did.
No, I didn't say Skybox last week.
You got to come prepared, Tanner.
I am prepared. Go to Skybox. Get you some wings. Me and Jared Harris will go to the Skybox and get that sausage cheese platter. It's got jalapenos on it. Man, it's so good as an appetizer.
Hungry.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so check out Skybox Inside Tupelo. Anyways, all right, that is the Connect Church podcast. I know we went a little long today. Sorry about that, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And we appreciate you guys for listening. Y'all have a great rest of the week, and we will see you Sunday at church and back on the podcast next week.
Peace.